Hello and welcome to the DieHard Racing League race here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway, presented by Clocks by Christopher. My name's Adam Baker. I'm here with Wingnut in the booth. We're presenting tonight's race. Wingnut, how's it going?
It's alright. It's been a rough day, but I'm here ready to go.
Yeah, it should be another exciting race. We've seen quite a few from these guys, you know, over the past few weeks. And
oh yeah, we broadcast these guys for over a season now. I get to take some of the best racing you'll ever see.
Yep, we're looking at Cody Franklin right now, bouncing off the wall, flying around in qualifying. And these guys only have about a minute and a half left. And
yeah, got James Brown currently doing a lap or two by the looks of it.
Yeah. He
hasn't got a qualifying time yet, so I guess this will be his first run.
Right now, Robert Barris sitting on the top of the standings, Jay Felton in second, Josh Stewart in third, Caleb Thompson fourth, Ron Hollifield in fifth, Todd Gray sixth, David Kamara seventh, Brad Speidel eighth, Adam Metz ninth, and Tom McBride in 10th. So the last couple guys are out on track trying to get a time in. James Brown jumps up to ninth place. Yep. And Cody Franklin back on track. But we're going to cut to our national anthem quickly here to get that in, and we'll be back with the grid.
We are in the land of the free because of the brave. And so we ask by your grace that you would bring them home soon and safe. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
All right, and we are back. We're going to go through our starting grid here in just a second. Wingnut, I'll do the top 10, and if you want to take it from there,
can do.
Go through it. Robert Barris comes away with the pole here tonight, so congrats to Robert for that great lap. A 29.945 puts him on the pole. Jay Felton is going to start on his outside in second. Third place starting is going to be Josh Stewart, fourth, Caleb Thompson.
Rob Jenkinson, 12th. Host Sway Teller is 13th. Jason Mullis, 14th. Patrick DeSonia, 15th. Craig Goodenough, 16th. Bruce Pearson, 17th. Seth Schultz back in 18th. Cody Franklin, 19th. Then we've got Rodney Kramer in 20th. The last car with a lap time will be Frederick Hofstetter in 21st. Then we have Mike Majors, Art Peck, Adam Nowinski, and Rusty Farrell, all without times running at the last 4 drivers. And 25 on the road right now.
Yeah, so pretty good sized field here tonight. We've seen, you know, basically the size field, I think, every week so far this year. So it's good to see the participation. You know, these guys sticking around and putting on these great races. Quickly before they get going, I just want to check out the weather here tonight. 84-degree track temp, so not too bad. These guys should have a pretty good handle on it here tonight, but we did hear it's tight entry and loose off. It only gets worse as the run goes on. So.
Well, from what I've heard, it was tight at the start, just tight everywhere. But as the run gets longer, the exit becomes loose and it's still tight on entry. So you're going to see the car get like really tight on entry and really loose on exit. Kind of scary to watch.
As the pace car dives in, Robert Barris is going to be the one to get him going here. Jay Felton waiting for the green. There it is. And we are off here tonight.
Everyone got a good run there, it looks like. No one's sticking out as having lost his pace.
Yeah, good start so far. Barris gets the nose out front, all the way clear. Here comes the 22 of Josh Stewart to the inside. Jay Felton going to be relegated back to 3rd place on the start. And Ron Hollifield and Caleb Thompson right behind him, duking it out for 4th place.
It's going to be interesting to see Barris and Josh Stewart fighting it out. These are both previous season champions, and also I think I can't remember who of them won the last season. But they're 2 different driving styles entirely. You've got Josh Stewart, aggression incarnate. Then you've got Robert Barris, who's just cool, calm, and collected and keeps the car going.
It's like
I love watching this fight.
Yin and yang, right at the
Exactly.
front.
It's a perfect little fight there. I'm going to see how that race goes.
Yeah, so those guys.
Looks like further back, Adam Matz is on the high line, getting eaten up by Thomas McBride and possibly even Rob Jenkins. Can get a good run there. Yeah, we've got Ron Holter sticking on the nose on the inside of Caleb Thompson.
We got
one
down on the apron. I can't see who that was. I think it's Seth Schultz. Got really loose coming out of turn 2, or got a little nudge in the rear, and almost lost it, but did a good job holding on to it there coming out of turn 2.
He's a damn good driver. It's good to see him hold on to that. It looks like Ron Holter lost that fight and is now falling back rapidly.
Yep, so losing ground here, currently battling with David Camara on the outside.
Jay Felton on the inside now. Josh Stewart for 2nd place. He might get a good run coming into turn 3 and 4. In fact, he pretty much completely clears him.
Yep,
so
Josh.
Cross over here, he's going to sit behind him.
Yeah, I think he's just going to sit for now. Maybe try and save some tires, which would be a little unusual from that driver,
exactly,
you know.
Yeah. It's unheard of. Aggression incarnate, being patient. What?
This track does eat the tires. This is the old laser scan model. It's a pretty worn out surface, and the fall off can be pretty bad here. I think you said it was a couple seconds.
Yeah, so we've got Todd Cray on the inside of Caleb Thompson for 4th. And from what I've heard, tire fall off, you get about 55-7 laps on fuel, but your tires only go down by about 2 seconds per lap. And while that is, you know, 30 to 32 seconds, when you consider how many laps that is, it's not really that big of a drop.
That's true. But it's a gradual fall off that continues all the way through the run. So there's going to be some advantage with tire strategy, but yeah, we'll see what happens there.
The fuel there.
Right now, James Brown diving to the inside of Brad Speidel makes that work, and going to take over 8th position for Brad. But everybody pretty much single file right now. Let's look a little farther back.
We just saw Seth Schultz get past Cody Franklin for 16th position. He's trying to move back up to the field. Little gaggle kind of forming there. You got DeSaulnier, Franklin, and you got Mike Majors behind him as well. And Bruce Pearson sitting behind that, so we'll have to see how that one goes.
Yeah, good 6 or 7 trucks back there, rounding out the back of the field. It looks like Rusty Farrell still holding on to that group, so everybody within 7 seconds of the leader. And Jay Felton putting tons of pressure on Barris right now.
Yes, but we all know Jay Felton, the Southern gentleman. He'll be nice about it until he doesn't need to be.
Yeah, he went real wide there coming out of turn 4. It looked like he was almost going to brush the wall, but maybe just trying something different. See if he can get some more momentum, and still sticking right around the back bumper. Todd Cray has been able to escape the clutches of Ron Hollifield and Caleb Thompson, and is working his way up towards the top 3. But Caleb Thompson under pressure from Ron right now, and Ron under pressure from David Camara, who actually dives to the inside.
I say Camara's getting to the inside of Ron Hollifield there. And it's nice to see Camara pass people, because generally he gets past someone, he just becomes a wall that they can't pass back. So hopefully he can keep that up.
Yep, makes a move there. Able to clear Ron. Going down into turn 1. Let's take a look a little farther back again. Everybody pretty much single file. I don't see any battles going on. Seth Schultz definitely reeling in Craig Goodenough in the 89 there up in 15. So he's trying to catch up to that kind of middle pack that we've got forming, and kind of leaving that last pack.
I will say, like, Seth Schultz started really low on the grid for his qualifying time. Normally he's up in the top 5 even. I wonder if he had to, maybe he tapped the wall on one of his qualifying laps and lost a lap. Let's see here. Yeah, actually, yeah, his second lap did not register at all, so I'm thinking maybe he touched a wall and lost his lap.
Yeah, I can't remember.
So to see if he's got pace.
If he was the pole sitter last week, but we saw him finish second at Martinsville. Had a great run in the very end, just slinging the car through the corners on really old tires, and it was definitely exciting to watch.
Camara now on the inside of Caleb Thompson for 5th position. He's got a nice run on the inside there, but I don't know if he's going to quite make it on the front stretch.
He'll have
to try and turns 1 and 2.
Good, yeah, pretty good position going into 1 and 2. He's got the nose to the quarter panel, and I think he might be able to get it done here. That bottom line is definitely stronger in 1 and 2 for the beginning part of a run. Doesn't make it work just yet, but still pretty good progress out of turn 2, and I think he should be able to get him here on this end of the track.
Yeah, and James Brown, Brad Sparta and Adam Matz have caught up to this pack. Now you've got Brad Sparta now the inside of James Brown, the exit of 4. So he's going to slot up behind him and get right behind Ron Holyfield now. Yep, as this fight continues on.
Yeah, Caleb doing a good job holding on the outside. It's definitely not an easy place to make it work, but the 72 just can't get the power down in the center of the turn, and Caleb keeps getting a run on the outside. Here comes Ron trying to make it move to the outside.
Yeah, Ron gets to choose which line does he think he's going to win this, which one he can help out.
Take a look back up front. Robert Barris still leading with Jay Felton close behind, just 1/10 of a second separating those two.
Yeah, that last lap, the one for that one, Barris did gain a bit of time on Felton, but this lap Felton got it all back. So
yeah, really good run here.
Whoa, look at Barris slowed right down. Look at that.
Yeah, Jay got his 2 tires on the white line there, and there's a little bit more grip in a certain part of the turn there, and he was able to hook that and get a great run on the exit. Now Foley alongside got the nose out front, so he may be able to get to him or get to the line to lead this lap, but 75 gets a good run on the outside.
Yeah, we're going to see a repeat of Camara and Thompson here, where the outside line gets that good, amazing runs, but the inside line gets that dive in.
Yeah, meanwhile,
Felton's going to try and steal that run on exit, and Barris is going to try and steal that dive on entry. But it looks like Felton clears him completely and takes first place away from Barris.
Camara had an issue.
Of the race.
He's on pit road. I didn't see
what
happened.
Pit road.
I didn't see what happened, but we lost him for a second.
I'll go look for you.
Yeah, I don't know. He just dropped through the field. I lost
him. No, he lost control and exit of 4, and it just went diving into the pit lane. Through the grass, into the pit lane. Probably got a black flag for that.
Also, I think Frederick Hofstetter had an issue, maybe involved in the same incident or a separate, but Jay Felton was able to take the lead over Robert Barris.
So, okay, so from what I can see, it looks like Hofstetter did the same thing, but with a bit of assistance. And by the looks of it, yeah, it's essentially the same thing, but nothing related.
Yep, Felton in the lead right now, but back under pressure by the 75, coming back to the inside. Josh Stewart is right there.
And Todd Cray. Todd Cray's behind. Look at him, he's just sitting there watching, he's licking his lips.
This is pretty much the top 4 competitors we've seen in every race so far this year. And now they're all...
Seth Schultz, absolutely.
Yep, Seth making his way through the field, though, up to 14th. And reeling in Josue Tellez up there in 13th.
Bit of fight between Thompson and James Brown as well, further back.
Yeah, right now Rob Jenkins making a move to the inside of, who's that, Jason Mullis. It's a name I haven't seen this year, but making a return to the league. It looks like he's not a rookie, so those guys.
And Rob Jenkins is a immigrant essentially from Paskey's.
Yep.
He wanted to try at DRL, and it looks like he's enjoying himself for sure. Can be a good driver.
Yeah, doing a good job, making his way up into 11th place. They're going to try and chase down Thomas McBride. Meanwhile, Jay Felton.
Jace Brown will complete that pass and Caleb Thompson as well. And look at this, Joshua Stewart. Now's the time to strike.
There's battles all over the place. I don't even know where to look. But Josh Stewart, yeah, making the move on the inside of Robert Barris. 21 of Todd Craig going to try and get in there, but not quite close enough. But Josh Stewart able to clear him completely and now putting pressure on Jay Felton.
Yeah, we're bouncing around like demented lemurs on cocaine trying to find what fight's going on. Now it looks like Felton's going to get a good distance from Barris. Now you can see if he can hold off Joshua Stewart. I think Stewart's now going, this is it, Anvil's hot, let's hit it.
Yeah, I think it looks like the trucks are a bit tighter when they're out in front with that clean air. So being behind someone actually seems to help them tonight. And that draft is definitely powerful on that back straightaway at least. So...
And we've seen that now that the tyres are starting to get loose on exit, though. We saw Camara and also Hofstadter lose on exit.
Yeah, I saw a little wiggle there from Todd Cray and Robert Barris, both those guys, the back end, trying to come around on them, but they do a good job holding on to it. And,
yeah, if you can hold on to it and do it right, you don't really lose any time. But if you do it wrong, man, it's a quick visit to the pit lane, I think.
Yeah, Ron Hollifield currently running up there in the top 5 as well, so good job there for Ron. Having a great run so far. Brad Speidel right behind him. And the battle between James Brown and Caleb Thompson still raging on. Those guys pretty close to each other, almost nose to tail, going through turns 1 and 2. Caleb Thompson trying to get that spot back from the 68.
Yeah, Thompson's kind of capable of just some absolute magic every once in a while. We've seen him do some amazing stuff, just come out of nowhere and be like hyper aggressive, but competitive, that's the word. Be really, really, really competitive. And then other races just has bad luck. So I want to see how he goes. He got a run on Brown here. Brown had a pretty bad exit.
Yeah, meanwhile, Jason Mullis and Rob Jenkins still battling it out for that 11th and 12th position.
Both of them giving each other good room for it too. They're not trying to like squeeze each other down yet. Obviously, Rob Jenkins is a new driver to the league. No one's quite sure how each other drive, so just giving each other the space. They'll fight each other the next few races. For now, they're just going to try and keep it alive.
Yeah, meanwhile, Caleb Thompson making the move again on James Brown.
They got real close together. Brown and Thompson were almost touching doors there. Could have shook hands through the doorway.
Oh, 4 very loose on the bottom side there. Going to lose a lot of momentum. Here comes the 59 of Adam Matt's going to try and make the move to the outside. And he does get up to the quarter panel. So big run
Here's something
there.
Interesting. Joshua Stewart's fallen back rapidly from Jay Felton. Felton has gotten away. Now you see Barris attacking Joshua Stewart. Felton is clear.
Yeah, so I think
Here
it's
comes
going
Barris down the inside.
It's going to start to come down to tire wear. I think Felton, usually one of the fastest on a long run, at least in my experience racing against him. He's very good on the long run. But we've also seen that from Barris. So Barris starting to make the charge back up. And Stewart.
That's why Barris is calm and collected, and Joshua Stewart's aggression and calm, because Stewart always has pace in those short runs, and he makes good use of it.
Yeah.
Whereas Barris, he starts in the middle of the pack and starts pushing forward. He always gets to the front near the end.
You can see the 22 there. He's fighting back on that high side, but you can see the back end really just wanting to pivot around, and he's not able to get to the throttle as much as he'd like. But Barris able to complete that pass. Todd Cray, the next one in line, to try and put pressure on the 22. But Stewart still all over the back bumper of the 75.
Notice that Thompson managed to gain some pace back. James Brown went way wide up to that Larson line. Adam Matt's going to get past him. Thompson might give it a try as well. But that puts Adam Matz into 7th. But that being said, Brown is not done. He's going to the inside. He got a really good run on that front stretch from that Larson line.
Yeah, big charge down into turn 3 here. Going to be able to complete the pass. Maybe pull a slide job on exit, and he does. 59. Oh, he's loose. Able to hold on to it. Runs it through the grass. Is going to lose all those spots that he just gained and more, as we see Jason Mullis, Rob Jenkins, and it looks like Seth Schultz now up into 13th is going to try and make a move on him.
Do you know who the big winner about that one is? Caleb Thompson. Oh, Thompson's getting loose too. Let's say Thompson was the big winner there. He got his position back and is fighting with Mats for the next one, but he got loose next to the 2 and almost went into Mats. Managed to save it and not hit Mats, but lost his pace and his chance, unfortunately.
Yeah, tight battling back between James Brown and Seth Schultz. 68 still struggling.
Thompson loose again on the exit of 4. What in the world? I think he's burnt his tires now.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys are going to start to struggle. Jay Felton has stretched his lead out to 1.3 seconds over Robert Barris, who's still under pressure from Josh Stewart and Todd Cray.
I looked at Felton's lap times. He's about 2/10 faster than Barris on average.
Yeah, definitely the fastest guy on track. I don't see anybody even close. Everybody else is at least 2/10 slower, although being said, Felton just ran about the same time as those guys on that last lap. A little bit faster than Barris and Stewart, but not quite as fast as the lap before.
Not 2/10, but he was still 1/10 faster, which is still amazing.
Oh, the 22 almost bouncing it off the wall there. I think he was just able to keep it out of the wall.
Still for you.
Here comes the 21.
That's how Craig clears him easily,
yeah. And Caleb Thompson able to get back by Adam Matz. So that battle's still raging, and the 83 of Thomas McBride looking on, waiting for one of those guys to make another mistake. All those guys.
Thompson's realized he can't run the low line anymore. He's been running the high line for a few corners.
That's usually what happens here. You have to kind of migrate slightly higher up the track, and that section of the track is actually under shade for a portion of turn 1, and I believe some of turns 3 and 4. So it's going to be a little bit cooler, a little bit easier on the tires. But Adam Matt's really starting to struggle now as he's under pressure from Thomas McBride.
Interestingly, Todd Cray is right up behind Robert Barris now. He had a fast lap last time, checking his lap as well. He was faster again by 2/10 that lap. Looks like Barris had a mistake. Cray is right behind him.
Yep, that group's still very close to each other. Jay Felton is just pulling away, though, over 3/10 faster than Barris that last lap. And now almost 2 seconds ahead. So really separating himself from the pack here as we are 28 laps into this. And really only a few trucks in contention at this point. The top 4 are within 2.5 seconds, but then another 4 seconds back to Ron Hollifield, who's steadily running here in the 5th place with Brett Speitel not too far behind.
A little note to further back, Seth Schultz has moved up to 11th position. He sees Jason Mullis ahead of him, so he's going to move to 10th soon. And ahead of him, you see Thomas McBride and Adam Matz just ahead too, so this is a chance to move up to that 8th position.
Yeah, so he's moved up 7 spots so far, probably one of our biggest movers here tonight. Jason Mullis right in front of him has moved up a few spots as well, but probably going to give that spot up as we've seen Schultz charging. And it definitely has the pace to get up inside that top 10, maybe even top 5 if we go green for a while. But we're about halfway through this fuel run, a little past halfway, and we might start to see some strategies with short pitting and things in about 10 or 15 laps here. See what
looks like Stewart tried to make a move on Cray, but realized he probably shouldn't do that. He's going to sit behind him as Cray looks to be starting to pressure Barris. And Jay Felton is finally reaching the first part of lap traffic.
Yeah, Felton out over 2.5 or over 2 seconds, but right on the back of David Camara, who had that issue coming out of turn 4, and he's got some left front damage, so that's definitely hurting him right now. Goes a lap down to Felton, who's able to clear him easily. And back farther, Todd Cray must have made a mistake. Here comes Josh Stewart to the inside.
Nice little fight going on here.
Yeah, some good battles throughout the pack. A lot of these drivers able to keep up with the ones around them, and we've had, you know, about 3 packs kind of generate throughout this field.
Just to Adam Nowinski, clear past Craig, good enough for 14th position there. Gets loose and exit, but saves it really quickly and keeps going. No really lost speed.
Let's see if anybody else is real close. We've got Jason Mullis down on the inside behind the 83 of Thomas McBride. And those guys chasing Adam Matz, who seems to have recovered pretty nicely. I think he was struggling for a bit, but has since gotten it under control and is starting to run that higher line. Mullis.
If this continues the way it currently is, you'll see Thompson, Matz, McBride, Mullis, and maybe even Seth Schultz close together on each other very slowly, but they are all sort of like accordioning back together.
Yep.
Accordioning.
Yeah. It's a long word. Mullis and Schultz are both running the low line in 3 and 4, and even in 1 and 2 here, they're running down low. So some of the only drivers that I've seen do that other than our leaders, Felton still running the inside line, and it seems to be working pretty well for him. But definitely the fastest driver on track right now. He ran a 32 flat that time by. The lap before was a 31.7, which was an incredible lap. This time by, though, Stewart actually running a very fast lap, putting pressure on the 75 of Barris there. Not sure if that's because of the draft or maybe he's figured something out here in these last couple laps, but making a move right now.
Aggression incarnate going to the inside here in 3 or 4. I don't know if he's going to have to run for it. Barris is going to get a really good run on exit. And look at that rear end of Stewart there. You see it starting to step out a little bit there.
Yeah, when you're pinched down on the inside.
To hold on to it.
Yeah, down on the inside, it's definitely tough to exit the turn, but he does hold on to it, and still alongside. We'll see what he can do. Barris, I think maybe progress. Maybe just giving it to him and going to try and pull a crossover, but not close enough to do that.
Good move from Joshua Stewart there. With the car pretty much loose and exit, manages to gather it up and find speed and get past Barris in the next corner. Well done.
Yeah, meanwhile, Mullis making a move to the inside of Thomas McBride. This is going to be for 9th position. McBride way up the hill. 35 gets a big run on the bottom, but can't get the power down coming out of the turn. The 83 comes back by. And Seth Schultz not too far behind these guys, so the longer they race it out, the quicker he's going to get into the top 10.
Something's going on with Frederick Hofstadter's car.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's been going on with him. I saw he had an issue earlier. It looked like he maybe made a mistake.
He's going to the pits now. I checked his last 2 or 3 laps. He didn't make another mistake, but it looked like his car just like lost all power essentially. Like he had nothing.
Yeah, not totally sure. We're seeing him go down pit road right now, though. Let's take a
Very
look
confusing.
back at Schultz, who's really reeled in the 35. And Mats and the 83
McBride,
side by side, yeah.
Told you, this is going to start coming together. Whoa! And McBride getting loose there, manages to save it.
Yeah, and this deep into the run, we may start to see some issues. You know, trying to make passes, it's going to be really, really slippery on that inside line. As Schultz goes to the outside.
Look at that rear end of McBride. I've seen it step out like 3 times in that corner. Manages to hold onto it, but loses pace.
Yep, Schultz now into the top 10, right on the back bumper of the 35 of Jason Mullis.
And Robert Barris now inside of Joshua Stewart again. This fight continues. The 2 champions fighting it out.
And the longer they fight it out, the farther Felton is going to be able to stretch his lead. Up to 2.5 seconds now.
Oh, look at that. Barris gets in front of Stewart and kind of blocks him off. Stewart could have turned in there, but managed to keep off of him.
Yep, these drivers all running pretty much equal times, so it's going to be really hard to make passes this late in a run as we're almost 40 laps into the race. But here comes the 22 of Stewart, peeking back to the inside.
And look like Barris wasn't even moving there. What happened? Like, Barris was just like asleep or something on that corner.
I think he just got a little loose in the center and drifted up and couldn't get back to the throttle. But Stewart pulls way ahead.
Yeah, we'll see Barris come back. We always do. This fight between these two has always been great to watch. I will say, obviously what they're trying to go for first, everyone would be. I get the feeling they're having fun with their little fight on their own, just those two. Just continuing the season finale fight from last season.
Yeah, definitely a great battle going on between these 3
Seth
here.
Schultz now inside of Jason Mullis. He's gone past McBride, now he's going past Mullis now on the inside.
It's going to be hard to complete this pass, I think. The 35 giving him plenty of room, but Schultz, yeah, the back end starting to slip out. McBride also wiggling right behind them. We'll see if Schultz is able.
If that was me, I would have spun. If that was me, I would have lost control of the car. I'd be done. That'd be race over. But I love watching these guys managing to save it lap after lap and just keep going.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. This is some of the most fun, you know, for me when I'm out there. I love slipping and sliding in, you know, the latter parts of a run, trying to make ground on people, trying to pull some slide jobs. Oh
yeah, because then you have to like wiggle it around yourself to try and get it just right.
Yep. Todd Cray on the back bumper.
Because there is a sweet spot, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. If you can kind of ride that right rear tire, you can kind of hook the car around, but you just need to give it the right percentage of throttle. You know, sometimes it's like 80%, sometimes it really depends on the setup, but at this track, it's very easy to loop it coming out of turn 2. And it's pretty late in the turn when the back end wants to come around, so sometimes you're almost on the straightaway, and you put the power down, and it's like,
still spins,
like, yeah, no thanks, and goes around. But yeah, Cray all over the back bumper.
I saw that, yeah, Cray was just sitting there. And interestingly, Josh Stewart has broken away from Barris rather rapidly. 4/10 of a second last lap.
Cray making a pit stop coming in. So first pit stops of the race coming up here. He's going to try and split it into thirds, it looks like. But this is a shorter first run. So the next 2 runs are going to be quite a bit longer. I can't tell if anyone else is on their way in. Looks like James Brown or... Yeah, James Brown also on pit road. So a couple drivers making their way in. We'll see what Felton does here. He chooses to stay out again. Josh Stewart also staying out. Barris
coming in.
Yep, making his way onto pit road. So probably a good move there to try and get an advantage over the leaders. Ron Hollifield and Brad Speidel continue to run out there.
Maybe get some gap as well from the guys around and give them some clean air just to put in some good laps.
Yep. Felton with a 2.7 second lead over Josh Stewart, and Josh actually running a really good lap there, 31.9, fastest on track by over a 10th. And seems like he's found something here in the last little part of this run. Maybe the truck is hooked up a little bit better than it was earlier.
He's probably using up all the tires he's got left. He's going to just throw it as hard as he can, get some amazing laps, cook those tires, and just get new ones.
Yep, that time by basically the same lap time as Jay Felton. And I can't
Lucky
tell.
lap, perhaps?
Caleb Thompson is on pit road as well. And I lost Stewart there for a second, but he is still out there.
Felton's still going. I saw looked like he was getting low there, but he did not go into the pit lane. I think Hollifield might be going to the pits. Nope, he was just really wide and slow for some reason.
Yeah, maybe trying to prepare himself to get in there and letting the 5 in front of him so they don't make any kind of contact. as he goes on the pit road.
Seth Schultz and Jason Mullis in the pits together. And look at that, Seth actually manages to pass Mullis on the entrance to pit lane.
Yep, also behind them, Adam Nowimski and the 6 of Rodney Kramer on pit road, so a big group.
Oh, Seth's entry to his pit stall was, what's the word? Exciting. Just lose it to the wall.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to be aggressive on pit road. You don't know where the other guy's box is every time, so yeah, Schultz already off and away. We'll see.
Yeah, so Seth Schultz making the pass on the entrance to pit lane. That's just, I haven't seen one of those yet. That's been well done to him.
Yep, McBride now on pit road. So the leader's still out there. Jay Felton, Josh Stewart. In now. Oh, here comes Jay.
Yep, Felton coming in now.
And Stewart's going to stay out.
Yeah, he's still going. And so is, never mind, Todd Cray already pitted. Herp-a-derp.
So Hollifield and Speidel also staying out. So I guess the longer you go on this run, the shorter the last 2 have to be. And it doesn't look like we're going to have any cautions here tonight. It's a green feeling race. So, you know, I think these guys have got it under control, and we may have a pretty clean race, but I don't want to speak too soon.
Yeah, I think if you do 2 50-lap stints, you'll have a 33-lap stint after that, which would be great. You'll have the best tires, short run, not as much fuel, you'll be all good.
Yeah, and it seems like the fall off happens kind of 25 to 30 laps in. That's the majority of the fall off, and then after that point you're running kind of the same times, around 32-second laps, and so it doesn't really hurt you too much, you know, to pit a little bit later. You'll lose some time up front, but you should be able to gain it back. I'm just trying to see who's still out there. Josh Stewart is still out there. Brad Speidel and Ron Hollifield still making their way around, but it looks like
Stewart staying out, sorry.
Yeah, it looked like he was maybe going to try and make his way in, but I think Hollifield is coming in. No?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, he is. Oh, he makes a mistake there.
Oh, no, it goes in sideways.
He made it around the cone, which was a good thing, but he's going to get unsafe pit entry, I think, by going out in the grass here. Maybe.
That's not what we wanted to see.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of a penalty he gets, if any. But it's definitely not going to help his cause. Jay Felton up to 7th place right now, currently a lap down.
Stewart's staying out again.
Robert Barris has a pretty good advantage on him, I think 3.5 seconds or so. And Barris about to unlap himself.
Joshua Stewart staying out still. And so is Adam Matz.
Barris just unlaps himself, moves up into the top 5 as well. Felton just coming out of turn 2. Ways back, so we'll see what kind of an advantage Barris has as the run goes on. Yeah, Stewart's still staying out. Here he comes. Yep. Coca-Cola 22.
As well that trading paints is currently bugged, so some of the paint jobs on the cars do not look correct. So they might look different on the broadcast. Just public service announcement.
Yep. I'm seeing a Coca-Cola truck here on Josh Stewart's 22. Although that's a new scheme for him, I think, so maybe it may not be correct.
I think it's alright. But a few cars are a bit unusual.
Yep. Brad Speidel and Adam Matz still staying out, and we're 52 laps in, so they're trying to go the full fuel run, I think. Speidel trying to lead some laps here.
Yeah, it's 57 to 58 laps on fuel. So they've still got a few more laps in there if they want to keep going.
Yeah, Speidel running a 32.1 on that lap. Todd Cray looks like he's the first of the drivers to have pitted. He ran a 30.6, and then Barris is not too far behind, also ran a 30.6. Felton with a 30.3, so he's making up ground on those two. We'll see if it kind of equalizes as he gets closer to them. But I think he's going to have a bit of an advantage.
Passed by lap traffic at the moment. It's just funny watching him. It's like night and day.
Yep, getting passed up by Schultz there, as well as James Brown. Those two battling for 8th and 9th on track.
Yep, they're fighting it out together while they're going around lap cars. That's just glorious to watch.
Josh Stewart just in front of them. He's on much fresher tires, though. 9 laps fresher than Brown, and then 6 laps fresher than Seth Schultz. As Brown almost gets into the wall, Schultz able to dodge him and gets now down on the inside. He's probably going to be able to clear him pretty easily with that tire advantage, and he's definitely at the pace here. See how he does.
Blinked and he's going in now. He's decided he's not going any longer. But Matz is staying out, so he will get a lap led.
59 coming across the line now, leads that lap. But he's been out here for 55 laps, and it's about time. only has a couple more before he has to make it
depends on
in.
how much fuel he's saved. He's either got 2 laps of fuel or 3, maybe 4 if he's been like clutching in, which he hasn't anyway. I double checked. I don't know why he'd be doing that.
I think he's making his way in here. He's definitely a lot slower.
He is.
So we'll see where he comes out after the pit cycle. It looks like Todd Cray's going to have the lead, though.
Yep, I think he was one of the first ones to pit for tires, so he's getting the best benefit out of it now.
And you can see he's already starting to lose the back end a bit. He's struggling with the loose condition. Barris is really reeling him in.
So I'm pretty sure Cray pitted first, then Barris, and then Felton, right?
Yep.
Cray 30.9, Barris 30.86, Felton 30.6,
and then Josh Stewart up in 4th.
30.3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's 8
You
seconds
just see
back.
the difference.
So it's a long way to go to try and make his way back up to those guys. Felton is not so far away. He's only a couple tenths or 1.2 seconds behind Barris, who's about a second behind Todd Cray. So the top 3 are going to close in to each other, and we should have a pretty exciting battle for the top spot as Adam Matt's making his way back out. He's going to be a lap down after staying out for so long.
The maths I've never had in my head, but we're trying to figure out like how much do your tires degrade over the race, and how much do you gain by staying out and getting fresher tires? Because obviously it equalizes after a while, but like it's never quite sure what the right call is, which is always great to watch. Because I'm never sure who's going to win it.
All kinds of strategies you can play for sure, and it's interesting to see how it all works out. And Todd Cray currently taking advantage of his strategy, and he's been out front now for 3 laps, but Barris is closing that gap about 1/10 a lap, and then Felton closing his gap about 2/10 a lap. So I think in about 5 laps, 5-6 laps, we'll have a 3-car battle for the lead. But there's a couple lap trucks, intermingled here, so it could make things a little bit interesting for Felton, as he's going to have to work his way past them. But I think they should be a breeze for him to get by. Caleb Thompson is starting to close the gap, or actually not closing the gap. Josh Stewart is closing the gap to the drivers in front of him. He's gained about a second on Felton. He's running 0.3 of a second a lap faster at the moment, so he should be there. It's going to be a little while, probably 15-20 laps, but I think he might be able to get up there to battle with those guys.
The wild card here is Joshua Stewart. If they fight ahead of him and start fighting each other a lot, that 8 seconds is going to evaporate. He's got one of the fresher tires. He's going to get really good runs and come up to them in seconds. Like it says 8. Whoa, he's gone to the wall. Never mind. He must have heard me.
Yeah, we saw it happen earlier today in the actual Cup race at Phoenix. Truex at the very end of the race closed up about an 8-second gap on Kyle Busch, but was not able to take the win. But just saved the tires. The difference obviously here is there's 3 cars fighting it out together. Yeah. If they start fighting, Stewart's got a good chance of just burning his tires and getting up to them and watching the incident happen right behind him. Right from him, sorry. Hofstetter gets into the wall just behind Jay Felton.
Oh, and look at that. Robert Barris is right behind Cray, and look, he's right behind Barris. Felton's already there.
And we'll see if Cray's able to do anything to hold on to this top spot. I don't think he's going to be able to. He's 0.3 slower that last lap than Barris. Probably just hoping for some kind of a caution, to keep this top spot, but he's going to lose it here and then have significant disadvantage as the laps wear on. Here comes Barris to the inside. Nose to nose at the line. I think Cray had that lap, but yep, Cray led the lap, but here goes Barris. He's going to be gone. Here comes Felton on the inside now, and he's going to probably be able to get by Barris and then drive away as well. He had about a 3-second advantage on these guys before the pit cycle. Josh Stewart has not closed up that gap after getting into the wall, so that's definitely going to hurt him. So I think it's really just a battle of these top 3 as we're 62 laps into this. Barris now on the outside. Felton able to drive deeper into the turn, able to clear him completely and hook that inside line. And I think he's pretty much gone at this point. 75
he pitted last with the freshest tires. If they had a chance to fight him there, but they can't do it now. Now he's ahead of them, he's going to get away from them. Unless he makes a severe mistake, he's just going to run away.
Yeah, here comes Adam Matz trying to get back on the lead lap, and he's got fresher tires than everybody else. And you can see the speed difference. I mean, he's a lap down, but he's just going to drive by Felton here, I think, in 1 and 2. Yeah, just...
It's only about 0.3 faster. It's not actually that much faster, but it looks like mountains.
Yeah, I think it was just because he's making the passes. He's only 3/10. I bet as soon as he gets out into clean air here, he'll run about a half second to a second a lap faster for a while, and then it should even out. But Felton now out to a 4/10 of a second lead. Barris not falling back quite as far as I expected him to this quickly, but I think that gap is just going to grow as the run goes on. And actually, Josh Stewart closed in another second, so he is gaining on these guys. The 12 truck of Hofstetter still struggling out here.
It looks like Josh Stewart does not have the pace to catch up to Todd Cray or Robert Barris, unfortunately, so he will be falling behind from this pack.
We'll see if anything else is going on out here. Looks like Rob Jenkins and Thomas McBride resuming their battle from earlier in the race. Those guys in 8th and 9th right now. And Ron Hollenfield, after spinning on pit entry, currently running 14th. So he was up in the top 5 before the pit cycle, but pitted a lot later than everybody else, and also made a mistake
as well. Yeah.
So
that being said, he's 4/10 faster than Kramer, so he's actually going to be passing him in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, big run here going into 1 and 2. Should be able to
Nothing
dive
Kramer
in.
can do, unfortunately.
Yeah. Hollenfield makes his way into 13th, and he does have a slight tire advantage on the drivers in front of him, but he's got a ways to go to catch them, so we'll see what he's able to do to recover here if he pulls any strategy later in the race. Now Felton out to almost a 1 second lead at the front of the pack. Barris still under pressure though from Todd Cray. So the top 3 are separated by a ways over Josh Stewart, who's still closing in, but not by enough, I think, at this point. He's
I'll be right back, quick sec, mate, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, Stewart actually closing in a 10th that last lap, but here we go. He's gaining quite a bit more. It looks like 3 more tenths at this point, now under 5-second gap to Todd Cray. So really closing up. We'll see what happens here if he's able to get up to those drivers. Caleb Thompson currently rounding out the top 5, and he is 13 seconds back from Jay Felton. And not too far behind is Seth Schultz, who started way back in the field. Started back in 18th, and he is up to 6th place, so good job through the pit cycle there, and we saw him pit actually quite a bit earlier than some of the other drivers. He's got fresher tires than Caleb Thompson in front of him, as well as James Brown behind him. And it looks like James Brown is going to start to get caught here by Thomas McBride and Rob Jenkins, and that battle is still going on. Brad Speidel now trying to make his way up through the field as well. He led a couple laps after staying out a lot longer. Jenkins really squeezing him down here in 3 and 4. Speidel not able to get back to the power, and it looks like James Brown's going to make his way down pit road again. So I'm not sure what that's all about. He hadn't been out there that long, but we're 70 laps into it, so maybe he's splitting this into a 4-stop race instead of 3. Interesting strategy by the number 68. Just kind of taking a look around here, see if anybody's battling. I think one of our biggest battles is going to be between McBride, Speidel, and Rob Jenkins. That's going to be for 7th, 8th, and 9th.
They're all close together right now.
And McBride way up by the wall. I think he's going to probably just let these drivers go. Speidel has much fresher tires. And Jenkins has slightly fresher, but those two have been around each other pretty much all race.
I thought for a moment that McBride would be saving his tires a bit on the outside line, but on exit there, even he lost his rear end. Like his rear end stepped out on exit of turn 2.
Yeah, he's probably up in the marbles. He was way up the track, and it's a hard place to run around this track. The Highline is really not the way around most of the time. You
try and make a fresh set of tires by using the tires that were already on the ground.
Yeah.
But if I run over enough marbles, will I make a new tire? The answer is no.
Yeah, it's still old rubber, so it's not going to help you. But
yeah, but it's free rubber.
That's true. Yeah, you won't have to pay for an extra set of tires. There you go.
just shave them off a little bit, they'll be fine.
Yeah, here comes Jenkins to the inside, trying to make the move to get up into 8th place, but not able to make it stick down on the bottom there. And while he stepped away, we mentioned that Seth Schultz is up in 6th. So he's had a good run going here, up, I believe, 12 spots from where he started. And think he's closing in on Caleb Thompson. Actually,
Absolutely,
yeah.
he is indeed, by 3/10.
Yeah, so Schultz having a great run here, trying to make his way up into that top 5.
Well, now that's interesting. Joshua Stewart is running 2/10 faster than Todd Craig, who's running 2 to 3/10 faster than Barris.
Yeah, Stewart is definitely closing in on Cray and Barris, but he's not gaining on Jay Felton. I think he's lost quite a bit of time to him, actually. But he's only 3.7 seconds back from Cray, so that battle's going to heat up, I think, here in the next 10 or 15 laps. But it'll be about time for pit stops.
Schultz and Stewart looking for is a safety car. Both Schultz and Stewart need safety cars right now.
Yeah.
To try and gain anything.
Yep.
And amusingly, Caleb Thompson does not want a safety car, I think, because it looks like he doesn't quite have the pace for these guys at the moment. He's got back up to 5th. He's in a good position. But I don't think he's got the pace to fight the guys around if it goes for round 2.
Yeah, he's doing a good job just kind of maintaining right now. Running a 31.8. Schultz actually running a slower time that time by, so we'll see what he's able to do. But Brad Speidel, one of the last guys to pit during that cycle, is actually really, really fast right now, and he's going to be able to close that gap up on Seth Schultz, running 3/10 faster that last time by.
He's only about 3 seconds behind, or 2.5 seconds now, so he's going to catch him rather rapidly.
Yep, that lap he was half a second faster, so it's only going to be about 4 laps before he gets to Schultz and makes his way back into the top 5. And he was running up in 4th, I believe, before the pit cycle. 4th or 5th. So
I think he cycled 4th through the pit cycle. Because 4th would have been Joshua Stewart, for instance. So he would have been like 5th or 6th.
Yeah, I think he had passed Ron Hollifield for that last spot in the top 5, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hollifield's recovering pretty well. He's up to 11th right now, or actually 12th. My timing was off there for a second.
We've seen Hollifield get onto the podium a few times. I'm just sad, whenever I'm broadcasting, he never gets there. It makes me sad. Because he's got pace, he's got a good car, he just gets really unlucky.
Yeah, one of the best runs I've seen from him so far. Other than that mistake, he's been pretty quick overall, and he had a pretty good strategy, I think, there. He would have been right with Speidel after the cycle if he hadn't made that mistake, so probably would have worked out well.
You can hear me, baby. I want to get you on the pits on the podium sometime, man. Come on.
Yep.
We need to get you up here at some point.
Schultz now within a second of Caleb Thompson, so that gap is closing down. And Speidel now within a second and a half of Schultz, so we're going to have a pretty big battle going on here. And Rob Jenkins still battling with Thomas McBride. These guys have been racing next to each other all race.
Oh, yeah. The question of does Speidel catch Schultz before or after he catches Caleb Thompson? Because he can either be really clean and quick for all 3 of them, or it could be a brutal slugfest for the next like 5 laps. Should also mention we are well over halfway now too.
Yeah, 79 laps into it. Let's take a look at our summary. We've had 9 lead changes. We've only got 54 to go, so this race is just flying by. We had no cautions.
0 cautions. 0. Zilch.
So some great racing. We've seen a couple little slides and incidents here and there, but nothing that's big enough to bring out the caution. Everything's happened down either like off the track or through the grass or pit roads. So
one thing I say about these guys, like, incidents happen, you can't avoid them. But these guys, when it happens, they get their car out of the way. They don't sit there and wiggle over the track trying to save it for too long. If they either go, can I save it? Yes or no. If I can't save it, get off the track. Just put it in the grass. It's good. It's refreshing to see people that know what they're doing when it comes to an incident.
Yeah, very respectful racing over here at the DieHard Racing League. And
absolutely.
Well, we got a second. I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsor here, Clocks by Christopher. These guys are it's your one-stop shop for new and refurbished grandfather clocks, and they're a small business with great prices and services. You can check them out at clocksbychristopher.com to learn more. Pretty cool business, and it's not a big business anymore. I'm sure there's a very limited amount of people that are able to work on grandfather clocks, but appreciate those guys coming on board and sponsoring a few races here in the DieHard Racing League. It's been a good show so far tonight, and the last couple of weeks have also been great. So.
Oh yeah. If it wasn't for shipping fees to Australia being like, the entire economy of Australia, I'd probably get one of them myself.
Yeah, grandfather clocks are pretty cool.
It's either this season or next season. They're going to be doing a clock trophy, I guess, for the winner.
Oh wow, yeah, I think Seth mentioned that was going to happen this year. Maybe it was,
Ooh.
or maybe it was next year. But definitely,
whichever one it is, that's a really. I like that's a unique way of getting a trophy. I really do like that.
Yeah, it's like the Martinsville grandfather clock. Those things are pretty neat.
Wait, that's actually a thing.
Yeah, yeah, Martinsville. that's the trophy down there. But they're handmade. You know, they're made specifically for the winner, and really, really cool. I mean, it's a very unusual gift, but I'm sure they're worth quite a bit just because they're hand built. But,
And because like anything from Martinsville, you're always glad that it survives.
yeah. There's quite a few drivers that have a lot of those in their houses too, so.
Oh man, could you imagine midday?
Yeah, just ringing all over the place.
Bang, 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 bang. Just the entire house starts bouncing from the noise like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yep. Meanwhile, Schultz is now within half a second of Caleb Thompson. Brad Speidel is just behind them, a second back, and that gap.
I was watching Speidel's speed compared to them, and he's gaining, but nowhere near the pace he was before. He was like 4 tenths faster. Now he's just a tenth.
Yeah.
He is not really gaining any real pace now. He's got to hurry up.
Starting to equalize. I think as soon as these two in front of him start to battle, he'll definitely gain quite a bit faster. But all these drivers are at least 17 seconds back from Jay Felton, who's really, you know, leading the way here, putting up, you know, an incredible pace. And Barris not able to stick around with him. He's 3 seconds back. Todd Cray 5.7 back. So Felton looks like the guy to beat here tonight.
Oh yeah, the Southern Gentleman showing everyone just how to drive.
He's been very smooth. I mean, I haven't seen the back of his truck start to wiggle at all. He's running that bottom line and just easing back into the throttle.
And if you watch it, it does step out a tiny bit, but instead of it going like crazy, he's just using it. It's like every once in a while it'll stick out a little bit and he'll get a bit more turn out of it. But he's not throwing it around, he's not pushing it hard, he's just keeping it cool, calm, and collected, save the tires, use the tires, and keep going.
Yep,
So you see that little loose and exit there. You see that? He did step out a bit, but he's using it, which is great. You can watch him every once in a while on a corner or two. That rear end will slide out a little tiny bit. Looks mostly on exit of 2 though, rather than 4. I like how I think everyone's being rather paranoid about the exit of turn 4.
Yeah, that's definitely a tricky one. The truck will kind of sneak around on you when you're not paying attention, or when you least expect it, at least. Caleb Thompson's making his way to pit road.
Ah, he decided to go in early. I think it's a smart idea, to be honest.
Yep, and the 6 of Rodney Kramer also making his way in. Rodney is a lap down. I think he's pitting from about 14th position. So,
interesting. Okay, so by my random head calculation, this is what what's his name? Thompson needs to get to the end. This is a final stop.
Yeah, he should be able to make it. It's only 45 laps to go. 44, 45. Yeah, so definitely within the window. And we saw a couple other drivers. I believe James Brown pitted earlier. I think it was around lap 75. So that was kind of an unusual sequence. I'm not sure what he was trying to do. I think he could make it roughly, or maybe within a lap or so of making it. So not sure what his strategy is. Maybe a 4-stop strategy, but he's got some heavy right front damage, so maybe he's just trying to
I think it's just
out.
survival at this point.
Yeah, maybe just not having fun in the loose truck and trying to make it to the end. Barris has actually done a decent job being on older tires than Felton. I'm actually kind of surprised he hasn't fallen farther back. And we'll see what he does for pit strategy, but I think he's going to have to undercut. And here he comes, actually, as we're talking about him.
Yeah, I will say, with Robert Barris, you can always watch him. He will always keep his tires alive. He doesn't push it too hard. He just makes use of them, keeps them alive, and uses them at the right time.
And Todd Cray also making his way down pit road. Adam Matz is in, just pulling into his box right now. I don't see anybody else getting onto pit road. So 2 of the top 3 making their way in. We'll see when Felton comes in.
Oh, we had it was a 3-way contact there between Craig Goodenough, Jenkins, and what was the other one? And Caleb Thompson there. They almost got together real messily. Looks like Jenkins is going to kind of lose out there a bit. He's going to fall behind from Thompson and Craig. That being said, he is a lap ahead of them, so it's not really that much of a problem, but it got scary for him there for sure.
Yep, so Thompson
Seth
up
coming
to
in.
12th. Here comes Seth Schultz. Also, Brad Speidel behind him, so that gap that was closing guess wasn't closing fast enough, and Speidel.
Thomas McBride as well. Ron Holyfield as well. Holyfield having a much cleaner entry.
And here comes Felton right behind him. Those guys pitting from the lead lap, but just barely in front of Felton. Felton doing a good job getting on the pit road as well. Let's see here. Yeah, all kinds of people.
Felton's put on a class now, just how to drive here. Keep it smooth, calm and collected, just keep the car going.
Yeah, we'll see if anybody's even able to take over the lead. I think Rob Jenkins might get back. He might get up to the front after this whole thing cycles through.
He will get a lap led if he does not pit this lap.
Yeah, he's been out there for 45 laps. We'll see what his plan is. He stayed out the longest, or you know, almost the longest of anyone on that last run. Let's see where Felton comes out, if he's able to come back out in the lead. Robert Barris coming around on track, able to leapfrog him here. He's going to be
one lap worse on tires too, so that one lap or one or two laps there is going to be massive in terms of position for Barris, but not very massive in terms of tire wear for Felton. This is going to be interesting to watch. And they're now three wide, yep. Getting past lap traffic.
Oh, contact! The 35.
Saves that.
Yeah, great job by the 35 to hold on to that, especially on 45 lap old tires. He's going to block Felton.
He's going to slow down Barris. Not Barris, Felton. My God, wrong word. I'm sorry, I'm too excited. That was crazy.
That was really close, and Ron Holyfield also making his way by. Let's see where Todd Cray is after they all cycled out. And he's not too far behind Felton, just 1.3 seconds, but
yep, you can see him.
A couple lap tire disadvantage, but Barris has a 1 second lead over Felton, so able to leapfrog him through that cycle
and only a 2 lap tire disadvantage too, so his tires won't be that much worse. In fact, at the moment he's actually faster because Felton has to fight past all this traffic. Still got one more car to go before he gets up to Barris.
Felton making his way past the struggling 12 of Frederick Hofstadter. Now making his way by Kamara. Let's see what he's able to do to close that gap. Rob Jenkins, though, still out on track, 48 laps on the tires.
Nicely done. I will say, this is going to be an interesting fight between Felton and Barris, because they both, as far as I'm concerned, do the same thing. Cool, calm, collected to keep the car going. It's going to be great to watch these two fight it out.
Yeah, I think Barris probably had to charge pretty hard on those couple of laps to be able to take the lead and have this 1 second advantage that he does, but maybe he just had a better entry in the pit cycle. It looks like
interesting that the time they have on tires, they can essentially sort of push it most of the race to the end. There's 56 laps on fuel, and your tires will be destroyed, but you know, you've still got pretty good patience, at least 2 seconds off of a lap. With 30, 40 laps to go, they can just push it and not care. A bit of fall off near the end, but Barris can push it as hard as he needs to keep his position.
Yep, definitely. We've got 10 drivers on the lead lap right now. So everybody else trapped a lap down, although it looks like actually now up to 12 drivers on the lead lap. Adam Nowimski, the first one, a lap down. Ron Holyfield also trapped a lap down. Although now that it looks like Jenkins is pitting.
Rob Jenkins in the pits, yep.
Yeah, so a lot of these drivers are going to get back onto the lead lap. Holyfield still a lap down, though. He's trapped behind Barris and Felton. So he'll be in the position for the lucky dog in case anything happens. But that spin earlier getting on the pit road didn't help him.
What do you think the time difference between Barris and Felton, right? Barris is what, 3 laps older tyres? How much slower do you think he is? Because I'm surprised.
Looks like 3/10 that lap.
Exactly.
Maybe Barris is trying to save a bit, though, and Felton might be pushing a bit harder.
He was 2/10 last lap, 3/10 this lap. That's just a massive difference.
Yeah, and like I said, I think most of that fall off happens in the first 20 to 25 laps of the run, and then kind of stabilize after that. But Barris now letting him go. I think Felton's going to have an advantage, but Barris maybe just saving. We'll see what he does here. Felton is a good tire saver as well, but definitely pushing a lot harder.
It's great. This isn't the turtle versus the hare. This is the turtle versus the turtle.
But they've both been pretty much the fastest out here on track tonight. So
yeah, the fastest turtles.
Todd Cray a little ways back, about 2.5 seconds, and back in 3rd place. Josh Stewart has made his way back up into 4th place. Caleb Thompson now into 5th. Seth Schultz still in 6th, about 1.3 seconds back from Caleb. So we'll see if he's able to close that gap. And Brad Speidel 1.3 back from Seth. So could have a pretty good three-way battle for 5th place as this race comes to a close. We've only got a little over 30 laps to go. Felton has stretched his lead out now to 4/10 of a second.
Yeah, that last lap, 3/10 faster. It's madness how much faster he is. We've got to really dial it in today.
Yeah, we've seen Felton have pretty incredible runs before and then had the race kind of taken from him late. But definitely, you know, very consistent driver, good on the long run. And he's really shown that off here tonight. He's led pretty much the majority of this race, 66 out of 102 laps. Definitely the guy to beat here right now. But Robert Barris, who I believe came in as the points leader, having a pretty solid run himself.
Always, he almost always does. That's why he's the points leader.
I'm gonna just double check that here and make sure that I'm right about that.
I got no idea, mate. So I'm just, if you're wrong, I'm wrong, which isn't good for me.
Not able to pull it up. I got too many things on my screen. I was trying to find it, but anyways, Jay Felton is starting to stretch the lead out even more. Let's see, 6/10 of a second over Barris.
I was poking through the field, seeing what's going on, but I think at the moment it's pretty much just all separated at the moment. Closest you've got is Thompson and Seth Schultz, and I think Seth might just pass Thompson now.
Yep, he did, and here comes Brad Spital making the pass on him as well. So Thompson dropping back to 7th. Spital, yep, just able to clear him there at the start-finish line. And
I don't think Seth can catch Joshua Stewart. He is faster than him, but he's got 12 seconds to gain. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, not enough time to make that happen, and his tires are only 3 laps fresher, so it's not like he's got a major advantage in that way. They're running about the same times at the moment, so let's see. Nowimski currently the first truck a lap down, just got put a lap down by Jay Felton. Ron Hollifield, second truck a lap down at 12th place, so he's done a decent job of trying to recover from that incident earlier, but really not in a good position at the moment. But if you can get by Nowimski,
it's a good recovery for sure, but at the same time, man, it hurts. It would hurt to know that you could be in the top 5 right now.
Yep, and Adam Matz just about to go a lap down. Here comes Felton up behind him coming out of turn 2.
Just me and Felton have a really, really bad exit to that corner. Am I just imagining things?
There was a truck down on the apron, so maybe he was just a little, maybe just trying to give that driver some room. But he's also got the 59 in front of him, so maybe just focusing on him, trying to, you know, make a clean pass there. But yeah, not really gaining too much time. Barris just still 6/10 of a second behind Felton.
He actually gained last lap. He gained by 2/10 on Felton.
Yeah, so maybe Barris was just saving on those handful of laps, and he got the advantage through the cycle by pitting earlier, but...
Yeah, I want to see. I think Felton might have had a moment there in the exit of 2 and had to, like, let off a bit. Maybe that car on the apron just kind of gave him a bit of a scare.
Yeah, working
We'll have to wait and see after this lap.
Of the 59, it's not going to be a great lap, I don't think, but still faster than Barris, just by a few hundredths.
It's not a great lap, but it's still faster than Barris.
Yeah.
Man. Ouch.
Just a few hundredths, though, so it's not significant. I think Barris was also just getting by the 28, so we'll see what he's able to do here on these next few laps. That's really going to determine, I think, the outlook of this race. Todd Cray is not really a factor at the moment, 3.8 seconds back, but if we get a caution late here, any of these drivers have a shot at it. It was about a 5-car breakaway early in the race.
Absolutely, yeah. This could go anywhere. If a caution pops up, anyone can get it, go home with it. Even Thompson can come back, McBride could go for it. Even Mike Majors, who's the last car in the lead lap, has a chance at it. Like that's if a caution pops up. But these guys have been clean all day. I don't want to say it, but I don't think there's going to be a caution. Now, don't blame me when one happens.
Well, I said it earlier, so I think we'd both be at fault. But right now, the battle actually for 5th place is heating up. Speidel is only a couple tenths behind Setschultz, and he's trying to make his way into the top 5.
Yeah, we'll see. Last lap he was slow, but there may have been a moment going on there. We'll have to wait to see how it goes this lap.
Yeah, they look pretty even at the moment. Not really.
They're both damn good drivers too, so it'll be a very interesting fight to see.
Yeah, just a few hundredths faster on Speidel's part. That could just be from the draft, but Schultz kind of changed his lineup.
Yeah, Seth's been running the low line the entire race. All of a sudden he's like to take the mid to high line there. That's interesting.
Yeah, looks like it might have cost him. Yeah, I don't know. It cost him a little bit of time there. He's switching it up late in the race. I wouldn't do that. I'd kind of stick to what you know at this point, but maybe he's just trying to find some kind of an advantage over the
maybe the road's cooler up there, try and get to better tire life, better run-off exit. It didn't hurt him too bad, but it didn't help either.
Yep.
That last lap, he wasn't actually that much slower. I think he might have actually shortened the what's the word? The gap between him and Speidel in terms of speed.
Yep.
It was like 2 or 3 hundredths last lap. This lap was only 100th, so very small difference. But Speidel's catching up. He's getting real close now.
Yeah, just about 2 truck lengths between these drivers. Meanwhile, Barris and Felton working through some heavy lap traffic. Felton made his way through, but he's still got a few drivers in front of him. Barris has the track pretty much blocked right now by Adam Matz in the 59 and the 2 of Mike Major. Both of those drivers battling for the lucky dog position.
I could imagine the steam coming out of his ears right now for that. Like,
yeah, this is definitely costing him time, even though those drivers on pretty much the same lap tires as him are just in the way at the moment. Felton now extends the gap out to 1.2 seconds, but like I said, he's got a few drivers in front of him. The 24 of Josue Tella is right up in front of him, and then I think we're going to see a few other drivers a couple laps down up in front of him. Oh, it looks pretty clear. So Felton able to get by those guys. Barris still has to clear those two, the 6 and the 24, to get up to Felton. But that gap is not really closing. Actually, as soon as I say that, it's a couple tenths smaller, 3 tenths smaller. So Felton had a moment.
Yeah, so what Barris lost last lap, he gained this lap.
Yeah, gained over 3 tenths, 3.5 tenths that lap. Felton starting to struggle as the tires are getting up into the 25 lap range. Barris looks to be pretty smooth right now.
There's only one problem for Barris right now. He may be fast, but look what's ahead of him. 2 different cars are now dead ahead of him. It looks like he's going to get past 1 and then 2. Yeah, they're fighting each other, by the way. Never mind, they're not actually. They're different laps. The best say they're fighting each other, but while they are 14th to 15th, one is 1 lap down, the other one is 2 laps down. So 2 and 3, sorry.
Yep, 2 and 3.
Derp.
I was just waiting for it to update, see if they were both on the same lap, but yeah, definitely a lap between those guys.
It looks like Speidel has fallen behind Seth Schultz. He's dropped 3 tenths, and I think Speidel must have lost his tires now.
Yeah, so I think he worked really hard to try and catch up to the 31, and Seth maybe running that higher line is actually saving tires, even though. So
I looked up at Joshua Stewart to see what he's doing, and the first thing he did was, when I looked at him,
caught the wall.
Popped off the wall. Yep,
oh yeah,
exactly. He hit the wall immediately. I'm like, oh god, of course.
He's just trying to narrow it up to get some kind of an aerodynamic advantage, I think, as he's a ways back, still 8 seconds back from Todd Cray. Yeah. He's closed that gap up by a few seconds, but yeah, I don't think he's going to have the speed or the time to get up there, as we're 16 laps to go.
He's going to need a lot more speed to do it. 16 laps, and he's gaining only 0.3. It's not going to be anywhere near enough. He's only going to get about 4 or 5 seconds on him, and he needs more than that.
Yeah, and he was 3 tenths slower that time by, so that's not going to help him at all. Felton still only 8 tenths of a second out in front of Barris, who's really, got back up to speed. So I'm not sure if it's starting to equalize or if Barris was saving and he's finally putting the pedal back to the floor again. But Felton's working through lap traffic coming up on Thomas McBride here. So
Knowing Barris, it's probably both.
A little bit of saving.
And him saving, yeah.
Yep. So he's hooking that inside line like Felton's been doing all race. It looks like it's starting to work for him. Gains a 10th there coming out of turn 2.
He's been seeing how Felton's been doing. He's like, oh, so that's what you've been doing. Let me just copy you.
That's what I've found is the fastest way around this track. There's
See McBride up there?
Yeah, getting pretty loose.
McBride was wiggling.
Barris able to clear him up to under 7/10 of a second behind Felton. So starting to close the gap, and this battle could heat up for the win here. We'll see what Felton's able to do. 6/10 now the gap between these drivers.
Yeah, 12 laps to go, and he's closing in on him.
And
he's been gaining it by about 1-2 tenths per lap, so he will get to him in about 5 or 6 laps.
I thought Felton was going to be able to just drive away with this thing. Oh, as he gets loose coming out of turn 4.
Felton's starting to push it, I think. Felton's realizing that Barris is catching him, so he's going to start trying to use that car up, and it looks like he's going to lose more time because of that. He's going to lose 1/10 this lap, but he's still losing slowly, constantly to Barris.
Yep, 12 laps to go. Felton trying to hold on for his first win of the year. I believe Barris has 2 wins on the season, so he's looking for another one here.
I believe Barris was actually last season's champion as well.
Yeah, so the champion from last year trying to get another win and extend, I believe, his points lead. Once again, I have to verify that, but I'm pretty sure he came in with the points lead.
Don't worry, guys. We're professional here.
Yeah, we were running a little bit behind here tonight, so I didn't get a chance to look at all that. But we'll just double check a little bit later during one of our commercial breaks.
That's so good, mate.
Felton, yeah, not really able to extend the gap or respond to Barris. So
well, he has sort of responded. The last lap, Barris only gained by a couple of hundredths. So if he can keep doing that, he has a good chance. He's only got 10 laps to go. If he can shorten that time, the gap that Barris catches him by, he's got a good chance. That lap there, he was slower, but only by a couple of hundredths.
Yeah, and that'll be enough.
0.01 of a second.
Yeah, that'll be enough for him to hold on to it.
He's got to keep this up because if Barris gets in giraffe range, he's going to catch up real quick. I'm just kind of watching and waiting now. Like I don't know what to say beyond just watching this fight develop.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking at the point standings. Barris is still your points leader. Tied with Todd Cray coming into this. I think they've already factored in their 2 drop weeks. So, so everything's very close right now. Jay Felton back in 26th in points. So this will be a big boost for him.
Absolutely, yeah. And that last lap there, Felton gained a couple of thousandths of a second. That's how close this is. They are now pushing it for every hundredth or thousandth of a second they can get.
You can see the gap closing though. Barris able to respond.
Yeah, Felton got wiggly and exited 2 then.
Yeah, 10.5 that time. And if he can do that a couple more times, he will be right there. Now under 0.4 of a second between these guys.
We've got, what, 7 laps to go?
Yeah, it's heating up for sure. Let's see if anything else is going on farther back. I think it's pretty much smooth sailing for everybody else.
Mm-hmm. No one's really in range to attack anybody at this point.
Yep, so our biggest battle is between the top 2, and Barris lost some time on that lap.
Yep,
10.5.
Felton gained 2/10 essentially there. A little bit more, a little bit less, give and take.
So that's basically what Barris gained the lap before. He just lost. And I think I noticed he got a little loose coming out of turn 2 on the last lap. So this time, a little bit smoother, with 7 laps to go.
Yeah, you can tell these guys are pushing because every once in a while, one of them will get loose. They are using up everything.
And you pretty much have to. It's that time in the race. And Barris and Felton, both of these guys good at saving tires, but you can see, you know, the skill that they're at this point in the run. They're still faster than everybody else pushing it, and they're not really losing the back end very much, and they're on 37 lap old tires.
That lap, Felton did a 31.57, Barris did a 31.55, so that he's catching him, but then he loses a little bit. He's just got to keep up the catch, get into that draft, and start charging.
I think he's going to gain a bit here on this lap. He looked a little bit faster. Yeah, not much though, just a couple hundredths again. Yeah,
2/100ths of a second that lap. It's minuscule gains, but considering how close they are, that's like massive. And Felton's going to see that on his relative. He's going to hear about it. He's going to hear that he's catching up a little bit. He's going to try and find a little bit more. Barris just needs to put pressure on right now.
Yeah, Barris lost a little bit there going into turn 3. So I think maybe the final push is not going to be enough. Although he gains a bit coming out of 4, so maybe Felton had a moment.
No. Felton gained a full 1/10 of a second that lap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Felton had a really good run on the exit of 4 there.
Yeah, my timing jumped around for a second. It showed Barris gained quite a bit, but he's losing time now, almost up to a second, so maybe the tires are just gone. And Felton is off to the races here. 4 laps to go, coming to 3 to go.
It's been a glorious race between these two for sure. And hello, Brad Speidel and Seth Schultz. I think they've gotten closer together, or is that lying to me? Yes,
no,
they are.
They're right next to each other. Speidel making a last-ditch effort to get back into the top 5. So this battle heating up. Barris is 0.8 of a second back from Jay Felton. Probably not going to be close enough unless Jay makes a big mistake. We're at 3 to go, coming to 2 to go.
And Speidel was actually faster than Seth Schultz again, but like Barris, it's just not enough. He's got the pace, but we're talking hundredths here, and he needs a full 1/10 of a second or so. I don't know if he's going to make it. He's going to give it a try, though. Yeah, Seth Schultz did lose some pace at some point, so...
Yeah, maybe just burn the tires up. Speidel really diving it in there into turn 3, trying to gain every little bit he can. They're on 2 to go. Felton coming out of turn 4, coming to the white flag. Barris is not close enough, 9/10 back. And Todd Cray in 3rd, 7.8 seconds back. So top 2 really putting on a show here tonight. Really pacing the field.
Absolutely.
And, showing why they might be favorites for the championship early here in this season. Felton coming around the backstretch now. Almost a second gap between second place and himself, and I think he's going to be able to take it here. 2 smooth turns left. Coming out of turn 4. Jay Felton's going to be able to win his first race of the year at Texas Motor Speedway. Jay Felton is your winner here. Robert Barris comes home second after giving it a good try there at the very end, but coming up just a little short. Todd Cray coming across the line. Gonna be your 3rd place finisher here tonight. About 8.6.
As for the fight between Seth Schultz and Brad Speidel, they're coming around the corners now, but it looks like Seth will keep it clear and hold 5th position for himself.
Seth doing a good job holding on to that spot and charging from way back. Ends up coming home 5th.
Oh, yeah.
Also, Josh Stewart was in there in 4th place, so solid run from him. We saw him up towards the front early on. A couple little mistakes kind of put him back, but a solid run overall. But Jay Felton, I think this is the first time that I've seen him actually win a race on broadcast. So a great run here from him. He really had that truck hooked up. Let's see what kind of a burnout he does for us. He's going to be a happy guy. I know it. He's lost a lot of close races, and really excited to come back and interview him. Right now, we're going to cut to a quick commercial break, and we will be right back.
Yeah, I'll take Barris. Rest of yours.
All right, and we are back. We're gonna be interviewing our third place finisher here tonight. It's gonna be Todd Cray, Adam Baker up in the SR booth. You got a copy?
Hey guys, gotcha.
Hey Todd, well you had a pretty solid run out there. We saw you lead a few laps here tonight. You came in tied for the points lead. I think you should be pretty close to that leaving here, but a solid third place finish. Kind of give us a rundown of how your night went.
Started off pretty good, just trying to get the feel of things. Jay took off and was super fast, so I short pitted there a little bit on that first pit stop just to see if I could, how it would kind of work out early on, and it definitely did not work out. Trucks were super loose tonight. Some points just hanging on, so just kept to the grindstone. Jay and Robert were super fast. So some nights you just got to, take third place and move on. So that's pretty much what we're going to do.
Yeah, it really seemed like it came down to the pit strategy here tonight. And we did see pit pretty early and come out with the lead and only hold on. You held on to it for a handful of laps, but the tire advantage, seems to be pretty important here tonight as the fall off happened pretty quickly. But you said you struggled with kind of a loose condition. We heard some drivers saying they struggled with tight condition. Did you experience that at any point, like early in the run?
Early in the run, it was probably pretty neutral for me. Just had to feather that throttle. I just think I went maybe a little too hard too early on these runs. Should have feathered it early, gave up a little time earlier. Just kept losing time, but Jay was on another planet tonight, so there was no way I was going to touch him. But late race caution would have been interesting. But sometimes you got to go green and make the right pit calls and have the long distance car, and those guys definitely did, and we definitely didn't. So still a good night. We'll like I said, we'll take it. Move on.
Yeah, definitely a solid run. We're headed to Michigan next week, which is a pretty different style track. So any thoughts on going out there?
I like Michigan. Yeah, I'm a short track guy, so I just take all these longer tracks 1 week at a time. Try not to make no big mistakes, and maybe do a little testing this week. Try to get a little better truck early on. I got to put a little more time in, I think, here. So we'll keep plugging at it.
Yeah, we got a few short tracks coming up later in the schedule too. I believe we got Bristol and it looks like Richmond, which if you like short tracks, those are definitely in your wheelhouse. Those are some of my favorites as well. But you put on a good show here tonight. You tried a few things and it didn't work out for you ultimately, but you come away with a solid top 3 finish. Before we let you go to celebrate that, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
I'd like to thank DieHard Racing League for putting on an awesome show. SR Broadcasting for putting it on for us as well. It's really cool. Clocks by Christopher, and that's about it. Pretty short and sweet tonight, fellas.
All right, Todd. Well, thanks for chatting with us here, and congratulations again on third place, and we'll catch up with you next time.
Okay, great, guys. Have a good night.
All right, you too. That was our third place finisher, Todd Cray. We're going to bring up second place, Robert Barris, and Wingna, I believe you're with him.
Yep. Hey, Barris, that's our booth. You got a copy?
Got you.
Hey, man, it's good to see you back up here again tonight.
Yeah, likewise. It's quite a streak. Good start to the season. 2 wins, 2 second places. I don't know, for whatever reason, the trucks, I really take to them. Like I said, for whatever reason, I think this is like the 13th top 2 finish in the trucks in the league here. So good finish. I didn't have anything for Jay. I was really tight that first and second run. I tried to change it up a little bit halfway through the second run, and it helped keep the truck a little bit loose, like it had been in practice. And so I was able to maintain the speed a little bit. I was able to stay with him. Before about halfway through the run, he'd start walking away, and so we're able to stay there with him. But I think it just quite wasn't enough, and clean air helped. I was really surprised. We battled pretty hard there that first run, and it seemed like the air made a big difference, whether you were leading or you were behind another truck. So we'd swing a little bit, and that let Jay get out. So he did a good job. He had speed all night. So congrats to him. And like I said, we'll take that second place. That's another good good points night here.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, there was 0 cautions tonight. 0. Big old donut. How did that affect your strategy? Were you expecting a caution at all, or did you know this was what's going to happen? Oh. Hello?
Yeah, you got me?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the track was not too bad. It was, like I said, in practice it was a little loose, but it was a controllable loose. It was pretty predictable on entry, and so I felt like if we got through, 15, 20 laps, the field would kind of stretch out a little bit. We had a good shot of seeing long green flag runs and green flag pit stops. Um, Tire fall off wasn't too terribly bad as long as you could take care of them. It was really just about your first half of the run and how you could drive the truck to get the second half of the run set up to whether you would have a little bit of loose and so that you could carry speed down the straightaways. And I just did a really bad job with that. But otherwise, I think everybody did a really great job tonight, giving room and still racing hard. I think there were quite a few battles. I know I got caught up with a couple there trying to chase Jay down, and I even put James and I think David 3 wide there in the tri-oval right after pit stops, just trying to stay in front of Jay. I knew that was, if I got caught up in them guys, he was going to be right there, and so I had to keep that gap.
Well, that's racing, man. But hey, you're obviously well known here for kind of saving your tires and truck till you need it. But when you came up against Felton, that's probably it's interesting. Probably like it's like the old meme of Spider-Man looking at himself. You both got the same kind of traits here, both sort of keeping your tires alive until the end. That was a really good run between you two.
Yeah, it was a blast. I knew in the early part of practice, just the line that I took through 1 was helping me with some speed. And then just the ability to carry the throttle on the exit of 4 when the truck was really loose on 10 to 15 lap old tires, probably was a touch above most of their field. And Jay hadn't shown up yet. He joined in kind of late, and right off the bat, he was putting up some good lap times. So I knew he had a decent piece. And just with the way that the track changed with the weather, it tightened up a little bit as we went through, and it just took me a little bit longer, I think, to adapt to it than it took him. That was, I think, probably the big difference.
Fair enough, man. Well, hey, I gotta ask, at that run in the end, were you putting everything you had into it, or did you kind of realize that it wasn't going to work?
I felt like I need to at least stay within touch of him. I wasn't overdriving it too bad. The adjustment to the line that I was making um, helped keep the tires on the truck longer, so that I could hang with them in the back half of a run instead of what I had done in the first 2 runs. And so, but I knew it wasn't going to be enough. We're pretty much draft lock here once you get spread out, and so it was just going to be if he made a mistake or not. And there were a couple of times where I noticed he was missing the bottom in 1 and 2, and that would hurt a little bit. But then I was having the same trouble, and then a couple of times he got pretty loose off of 4, and it would break his momentum. But it just wasn't enough for me to get close enough to put any more pressure on him and seeing what would happen.
Fair enough. Hey, well, next week's Michigan big boy track. I mean, I'm gonna get flayed for this, but essentially the same track here, right? How you feel there?
I think Michigan is going to be a little more wide open, just because the turns are they're not as tight. We'll have to see. I think you're going to see more aero at play there and more drafting. It also depends on the weather we get and if you get flat-footed or not. I'm looking forward to it. Michigan and its sister Auto Club, California, are not historically been really great for me. I've had decent finishes there and usually get it done in one piece, but just I don't know though if one at either track in the league. So hopefully we'll scratch that one off and get it done next week.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, got any shouts for us before you bail out?
Yeah, we got to thank the Snack Cake guys again coming on board. Be sure to check them out. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all the social media. You guys at SR Broadcasting for putting this on. You guys do a fabulous job. All the drivers come out to give you guys something to broadcast and something to talk about. And I don't know if we had a race sponsor tonight, but if we did, thanks to them. And finally, iRacing, the technology that they have is, I think, second to none to enable us to do what we do here. We saw the track change, we saw the sun move, we saw temperatures change, and it's at that point you're in a real life environment. It's not just do the same lap over and over again, and who can just run that repeated lap over and over. And you actually got to adapt to the conditions and try stuff out. And we saw, I think, that at play tonight.
Well, fair enough, man. Well, hey, enjoy your second place. It may not be the one you were exactly looking for, but you made it a bloody good show here.
Oh, thank you.
All right, that was Robert Barris, second place.
All right, and so we're going to bring in Jay Felton for the final interview here. And Wingnut, I think you and I can tag team this. Jay, congratulations. It's been a long time coming, but this is an awesome race for you here tonight. So how are you feeling?
I feel great. Thank you, Adam. Thanks, Wingnut. Had a good time.
Yeah, you were definitely the class of the field out there. You led 98 laps tonight, and it seemed like you had a really good handle on the truck. But what did you kind of feel as the race progressed?
The key for me was just getting off 4. I mean, I thought the truck drove perfect through 1 and 2. I didn't have any trouble. As long as I could manage to get out of 4 and not tear my truck all to pieces, and protect my tires. I thought the setup was pretty good. It got, I don't know if I was heating up the right rear tire, Adam, or I was just losing that weight of the fuel on the back of the truck, but it was getting a little delicate, later in the run, exiting 4.
Yeah, we would notice that, especially in that battle with Robert Barris there at the very end. You were able to get by him. It was a really great battle between you two, and we saw you starting to slip a little bit coming out of 4, and he'd be able to gain a couple tenths, and then you'd gain him right back. But definitely a back and forth between you guys, and it was a lot of fun to watch.
Well, thanks. I mean, last season, Robert had kind of took me to school somewhere on a 1.5-mile track. I can't remember where it was, but it was driving kind of like this, where it was kind of, might have been loose off 2 also, but it was definitely loose off 4. And I couldn't hold on to him. And as the run wore on, he would just start gapping me, and I knew I had some work to do if I was going to be able to race with him. And so I went and practiced and just tried to have more throttle control and protect my tires a little more. And I don't know if the track just suited me tonight or whether that work paid off, but man, I am glad, because I was watching Robert. He's such a threat in this league, or a bunch of other guys, but I felt like this track would suit him just from racing with him last season and the first part of this season. So I really had my eye on him and was just trying to not make a big mistake. I made quite a few mistakes, to be honest with you, but none of them were too costly.
Yeah, you had a little different pitch strategy too, which put you behind those guys a couple times, but it didn't seem like you were too concerned about that. You were able to catch up to them and just drive on by, and you really had, really good long run speed. The other guys either just behind on pit strategy or not able to keep up with you on the long run. But Robert really was the only threat there at the very end, and it seemed like you had something figured out around this place tonight that he was not able to get. But yeah, just an incredible run from here tonight. You led 98 laps after starting second, and just a dominant performance. But next week we're going to Michigan. It's a very different track. It's long straightaways and a really wide turn. So any thoughts on going out there?
Yeah, I've got some thoughts on it. I think we're going to be a lot closer together than we were tonight, which is kind of how the trucks work, especially at a track like Michigan. And, we're going to have to be careful. Did we run caution free tonight?
Yep.
Wow. Isn't that amazing? How many trucks did we have?
27, I believe. 25, sorry, 25.
Listen, I just want to kind of say this. I mean, if there's anybody out there that's looking for a great place to race, you need to come check these guys out, because there's some really respectful but hard-charging guys in this league. And I've been here about a season and a half, and they've made me feel welcome and really had a good time. And if you're looking for a place to race where you can have some fun and be challenged, you ought to come talk to Seth and give these guys a try.
That's awesome, Jay. Yeah, we've definitely seen, just from the last 3 races, it's been some incredible battles back and forth, and really limited amount of cautions. Just really respectful racing overall, and that was definitely evident here tonight. Yourself and all the other drivers putting on another great show, and you were able to come out on top. But before we let you go here tonight, anybody you want to give a shout out to celebrate this win?
Yeah, Adam, I want to thank Clocks by Christopher. They support this league financially, and American Hero Hunt. They also are a sponsor here, and I want them to know that I really appreciate what they're doing so that we can all get together on Sunday evenings and race. And want to thank Wingnut for coming out and broadcasting this race. And I really want to thank you, Adam, because, with Paul experiencing his move and everything, I appreciate what you're doing, man. It's just really cool that you stepped up over here to help Paul out and to help Seth out. And we appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. Last but not least, I want to thank Seth and all these administrators. I want to thank all the guys in this league for, welcoming me in here and racing with me and letting me be a part of what you guys are doing.
Awesome, Jay. Well, thank you so much for the compliments there. We definitely appreciate it, and we love, broadcasting these races and bringing them to you, and watching you put on a show here tonight. So once again, congratulations on this win. It was a great race for you here tonight, and definitely going to move you up in the points standings. So that's a big thing. But we'll let you go celebrate this win here tonight, and catch up with you next time.
Thanks a lot, Adam.
Have a good one, mate.
See you, Wingnut.
All right, and that was our winner here tonight, Jay Felton. Started second, led 98 laps tonight. Really dominant performance, and Robert Barris, his closest competitor there at the end, was not able to seal the deal, and Jay was able to hold on for victory. So,
we were talking at the start about, between Stewart and Barris, the hare versus the rabbit, the hare versus the turtle there. That was the turtle versus the turtle, and it was just amazing to watch.
Yep, the 2 fastest turtles around battling to win there.
Nos bottles in the back, mate.
So let's go quickly through our results here, Wayne. I'm not sure if you've got them up still.
I do indeed. I can start them off for you, mate.
All right, perfect.
All right, Jay Felton coming home with a win here tonight, followed up closely by Robert Barris, did his absolute best to keep up. Now we've got Todd Craig coming out in third, Josh Stewart in fourth, the hares back and forth. Seth Schultz in fifth, Brad Spartle sixth, Caleb Thompson in seventh, Thomas McBride in eighth, Adam Matz in ninth, and then Adam Nowinski in 10th. You want the rest?
Yep, I'll take the rest from here. Mike Major comes home 11th. Ron Hollowfield, after making that mistake getting on the pit road, finishes 12th. Rob Jenkins 13th. David Camara 14th. Josue Tellez 15th. Rodney Kramer 16th. Craig Goodenough 17th. Jason Mullis 18th. Patrick Dusanier 19th. And Art Peck rounds out the top 20. Frederick Hofstetter finishes 21st. James Brown 22nd. Rusty Farrell 23rd. Bruce Pearson 24th. And Cody Franklin rounds out the field here tonight in 25th. So another great race here tonight at the DieHard Racing League. We want to give a big shout out again to the sponsor of tonight's race, Clocks by Christopher. They're the one-stop shop for new and refurbished grandfather clocks. Small business with great services and prices. Check those guys out at clocksbychristopher.com. thank you guys for coming on board and sponsoring the series here for these past few races. But yeah, once again, another great race here at the DieHard Racing League. This was race number 4. Next week, we're going to be at Michigan for a nice battle over there. Completely different track, and I would expect another great race from these guys. But between now and then, we've got a handful of other races. We've got a couple Paskies races broadcast here on SR Broadcasting, as well as Wednesday night, we're going to have the Capital Auto Repair and Service Truck Series. They're about halfway through their season, getting pretty close to the playoffs over there, so tune in for that one. But yeah, once again, great battle here. Any last thoughts before we head out, Wingnut?
I was gonna say, like, a shout out to all the drivers today. Seriously, like any other race, incidents happen, but when you have an incident, it doesn't cause a caution. You don't affect anyone else but yourself. That's how you're meant to drive.
Yeah, it was an incredible show here tonight. No cautions, and you could see on the broadcast here lots of drivers battling with a pretty loose condition, and just some incredible driving to be able to hold on to it or not take anybody else out. So. It's kind of what we've come to expect in this league, and it's been a pleasure to broadcast these guys. And once again, shout out to Clocks by Christopher and all the guys over here in DieHard Racing League for letting this happen. And until next time, we will catch you all later.
Peace.